You know the martial artist who trains on clean mats, under fluorescent lights, collecting trophies. But what about the one forged in the dark? This is the story of Dan Ivan, a name that echoes among the true pioneers. He wasn't a product of the modern dojo. He was a product of chaos, of the bombed-out streets of occupied Tokyo. Born Danny Vargo, a runaway kid from Ohio who traded a jail sentence for an army uniform, Ivan ended up hunting criminals in the dangerous Tokyo underworld. He didn't learn karate as a sport. He learned it as a necessity, a brutal tool for survival. Today, we dive into the trajectory of a martial arts icon, a man who trained under legends like Gogen Yamaguchi and Isao Obata, and whose life was the definition of walking the walk. Get ready! This is the incredible, raw, and true story of Dan Ivan, the man who lived karate. The world of martial arts knows two kinds of masters, the one who trains on clean dojo floors under bright lights, and the one forged in chaos, on the brutal line between life and death. The story of Dan Ivan is the latter, a biography not written in medals or magazine covers, but in the raw necessity of survival on the darkest streets of post-war Tokyo. Ivan, born Daniel Danny Vargo in Alliance, Ohio, in 1930, was a complex man whose life was an unending adventure. Raised by his grandparents during the tail end of the Great Depression, the boredom of his dreary hometown was soon replaced by the thrill of hopping freight trains. This early taste of life on the rails set the stage for a youthful delinquency that put him on a collision course with the law. In 1945, at the age of 15, the local police intervened, helping him exchange a potential jail sentence for a forged signature and a US Army uniform. Destiny in occupied Japan, 1948. After an initial posting to Guam, Ivan was deployed to occupied Japan in 1948. This was a pivotal moment in his life. Amidst the concrete graveyard of bombed-out buildings and widespread starvation, the young man learned Japanese and joined the Army's Criminal Investigations Detachment, CID. His job was a dangerous one, tracking American military criminals through the volatile Tokyo underworld, dealing with everything from drug trafficking to bar brawls. Karate, for Dan Ivan, was not a sport. It was a matter of life and death. His daily existence mirrored that of the early Okinawan Bushi, warriors, who used their art purely for defense and integrity. He didn't just study martial arts. He needed them to survive in a war-weary land where an American was often seen as an enemy. He began his intense study with the masters who were then shaping the future of Budo in Japan. He was one of the first foreigners after the war to train at the famed Kodokan for Judo under Kyuzo Mifyu. He later trained in Kendo, Aikido, under Gozo Shioda, and most significantly, karate. In 1948, he took his first steps down a dark, ominous staircase and found the Ryobukan Dojo, starting a friendship with Gogen, the cat, Yamaguchi of Goju-ryu. He later trained Shotokan under Isao Obata, an early student of Gichin Funakoshi. These were the years that forged him. He learned to walk with attitude, strut and swagger, relying on grit and skill to compensate for his relatively small size. He honed his fighting philosophy on the streets, learning to instantly attack the eyes, legs, and throat, a pragmatic, brutal science of self-preservation. This intense period of study and survival allowed him to become one of the first foreigners to earn black belts in the four major Budo arts of Judo, Kendo, Aikido, and Karate. A pioneer of American karate. Returning to the U.S. in 1956, Dan Ivan immediately became a monumental figure in the nascent American martial arts scene. In the mid-50s, he opened his first Shotokan dojo in Southern California, eventually establishing 8 schools and founding the Japan Karate-Do Federation in 1959. Ivan's pragmatism extended to the business of martial arts. He was a constant recruiter, even using bold methods like chasing down a car of tough guys in traffic just to hand them his business card. He was instrumental in promoting many of the masters who would later gain national recognition, even helping to bring Fumio Demura to the United States in 1965 to teach Shito-ryu and Kabuto at his dojos. His tireless work in promoting karate earned him a place in the Black Belt Magazine Hall of Fame as Man of the Year in 1972. Despite his Hollywood connections, real estate ventures, and tournament success, Ivan remained wary of the burgeoning karate boom, which he felt was producing fake masters who had never faced anything resembling death. In his later, more secluded years, living in the California desert outside Palm Springs, his thoughts always returned to the maelstrom of adventure in post-war Japan. In 2002, he co-authored Japanese Karate, A Warrior's Spirit with his student Paul Godshaw, a testament to his lifelong devotion to the art. A few years before his death, he was awarded an 8th-degree black belt by the International Martial Arts Federation, a recognition he accepted with pride, though he believed his true stature was earned not from paper awards, but from a lifetime of combat and respect. Dan Ivan passed away on November 14, 2007, from bone cancer. His legacy is the embodiment of a martial artist who needed no titles to define his greatness. He was the man who lived karate, a relentless survivor who transformed a childhood on the rails into a defining role in the history of American martial arts. What can we ultimately learn from the life of Dan Ivan? He was a man who, even in his years of Hollywood success and the California karate boom, preferred to revisit the memories of those filthy streets. He was wary of the fake masters and always believed that a fighter's true measure was facing death. Dan Ivan was not created by the martial arts community. He created himself. He didn't need titles or dance certificates to have stature. His life was his legacy. His path reminds us that before it was a sport, karate was a tool for survival, for integrity, and, in his case, for raw justice. Sensei Dan Ivan passed away in 2007, but the spirit of the kid who jumped trains and became a Japanese underworld warrior lives on in every story he shared. His legacy is a testament that the greatest martial art is the one that teaches you how to survive. If you enjoyed this journey through the life of a true pioneer, please leave a like, share this video, and subscribe for more untold stories from the world of martial arts. Thank you for watching.